not start. Holy fuck, there's a beam of light shining down upon me. You guys see this? I'm being fucking basked in glorious light. Gotta subscribe for that. Oh. The holiest of mock drafts. Subscribe for the beam, dude. Light the motherfucking beam. If you're from Sacramento, where my Sacramento Kings boys at, dude? Light the motherfucking beam. I'm drafting at the 7th spot, the dreaded 7th spot. It's probably the worst spot to draft from. Essentially every year, right? Everyone always says like, "Oh, dude, this year, really," but it's dog water, it's dog shit every season. So we're gonna see what type of team we could construct. I'm already liking this because I already see running backs get off the board, which means there's gonna be value falling to me. Justin Jefferson falling to me at the 1-7. I mean, I take back everything I just said about the 7th spot. I am going to win this mock draft. That is probably not, but yeah, essentially what you usually see is you usually see CMC, then you see like all the 5 top wide receivers who are all kind of in that tier. And then you're left with Bijan, Brees, Gibbs, or AJ Brown if you want to reach, right? So like if you're drafting at any of these middle round picks and any of those top 5 wide receivers fall to you, you're dancing, right? It's time to party because that's usually what doesn't happen. And if you're happy with getting like a Bijan, Brees, Gibbs in a PPR league, right? Where, I mean, in this league, it's kind of interesting though, because in this league, you're only starting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. What kind of taco ass league is this? But I don't know. Anyway, you're only starting 7, so I mean, I guess running back value is not that bad. Like usually in like a start 9, you're starting like 2 flexes, 2 wide receivers, and 2 running backs and stuff like that. That's when you want to load up on wide receivers. So it does make sense why people are going RB, so we're like, let's do double tapped RB. Um, I just I don't understand why you do even in a start 7, like you're going Taylor and Barkley, both guys who aren't really, I don't think, going to be like receiving backs. But anyway, let's talk about this draft a little bit. I'm a big fan of pretty much those top 5 wide receivers, as I mentioned. There's another guy, AJ Brown, who I do think is, getting him at the back end of the first round, sometimes even early second round. To me, that's like one of the most value picks in the first round. I just think like the Kellen Moore effect. Kellen Moore coming to the Eagles, he's tended to improve the productivity or the production of at least one receiver when he comes into town. So we're hoping it's going to be Brown. It very possibly could be Devontae Smith if Smith turns into more of that like possession type guy, higher volume, while AJ Brown becomes kind of that big play guy. I can see that happening, especially as AJ Brown kind of gets a little bit older in age, right? He's 27. And then your standard picks, I think dudes that I would tend to let me just make my pick, and then I'll get back to that comment that I was about to make. I think it's pretty easy here. I think simply because I don't like love these running backs right here, I think I will just go ahead. I think I will just take Devontae Adams, just lock in having 2 like pretty bona fide wide receivers. I mean, Adams has his concerns for sure, but let me just talk about some of these other picks, and I'll talk about Adams. So picks that I don't really like in the first round include Puka Nakua. I think I don't really like Jameer Gibbs very much. I understand the hype. I just think like he's more of a second round type guy. Like I'm struggling to understand why Kyron Williams is being drafted so much later than Gibbs, like a full half round later. I mean, I guess it's not so much later, right? But like Kyron Williams will have that backfield to himself, and he's also in a high powered offense, right? Gibbs, yeah, he's going to have a higher percentage of the backfield, but he's still sharing it. And like, yeah, the Lions are probably going to be a better offense than the Rams, but how much better? Right? We're just assuming they're going to be like top tier, which they were last season. But you're only as good as your last fight, or you're only as good as your next fight. All right, Devontae Adams. So I don't like Marvin Harrison. I don't like ETN. I don't like Achan. And Barkley worries me a little, just how much he's moving up boards. But Devontae Adams, the concerns with him is obviously his age, obviously the quarterback. We don't know if it's going to be Minshew, or Aiden O'Connell. Either way, I think his production will remain the same regardless of which quarterback. They're kind of similar QBs in my opinion. I think Minshew's more of a gunslinger. Aiden O'Connell's a little bit more conservative, but Devontae Adams is still going to be like that guy for them. Like regardless of who it is, they're going to feed him, right? So with that in mind, I think he's a pretty safe pick. Now I'm gonna see if I can not take a running back here and see if potentially a ooh, you know what? Let's try this out. I'm gonna go Sam Laporta. I want to see what my team looks like if I just like kind of take like the best available dude. Like the fact that Kelsey got taken and let Sam Porter stayed on the board at 3-7 means I get the consensus tight end one, right? In addition to Jefferson, who could be the consensus wide receiver one. So it's like this is too much value to not go in on. Like I probably would have taken a wide receiver there, but here's my thinking. If Waddle falls to me in the fourth round, I'm fucking stoked, right? If he doesn't, I potentially pit, someone like Devontae Smith is possible. But that's when I'll then look at RB, like a dude like Mixon, a dude like Kamara. Already queue them up because those are two dudes that I'd happily take in the fourth round. Um, yeah, what? Let's talk about these third round wide receivers, man. I think this third round is brutal when it comes to wide receivers. I think the way that I see these drafts shaking out, you probably want to have two wide receivers in the first and second round because I don't know if you want to take one of these dudes in the third in terms of value. It's just like Diggs, Olave, Metcalf. Usually they get taken even earlier. This is a weird ass draft. You know, Nico Collins, like these guys all have some concerns to me. Like Nico Collins, he's sharing that wide receiver room with two other studs, right? As good as Stroud is, and as we think he's going to be, which I think is overrated a little. Can he keep three wide receivers alive and prospering? I don't know. That's difficult. DK Metcalf, he's also getting up in age. He also has to share, production with two other dudes while Lockett is getting I think going to be phased out this season. I do think Metcalf is going to be contending with an emerging Jackson Smith and Jigba, who's going to command a little bit more target share. And even though DK Metcalf is still going to be like great, I still think he's like a big red zone weapon. I just haven't seen much from Geno Smith since that like fluke season, right? He kind of really shat his pants last season. So I don't know. DK Metcalf is just like that's his wide receiver one for team nine, right? Like he's got ETN Gibbs and then Metcalf's his wide receiver one. Like, yeah, there's a little bit of upside with Metcalf. He could at any given season he could be that dude, but it's just a little concerning. And then Olave, I think Olave is a good pick in the third round. I think that's like the one in the midst of all of that dumpster fire. He's like, dude, if Waddle gets taken right here, we riot. Waddle gets taken right here, we quit. Oh, oh, the snipe, dude, the snipe of all snipes. I think I have to pivot RB then. Like I said, damn. Um, Watch out, Apollo. Fuck, man, that was brutal. I think I'm going Mixon. Mixon. The reason I went Mixon over Kamara is just because I think Mixon's going to have a little bit more of a workhorsey type role, while Kamara, I think, loses some early down work. James Cook also would have been fine there. Just getting a player where he's on the ascent, right, rather than Mixon, who's kind of like near the tail end. Just he's on his second team. I think he's on his second contract or third contract even. Yeah, that might be his third contract. Um, Damn, dude, Waddle getting taken really stun locked me. I mean, I had a backup plan, but still, like, you hate to see it because how your team could look, right? Like having Jefferson, Adams, Waddle, Laporta as your first four picks. Damn, that's brutal. All right, let me regroup. Let me hit a med kit real quick. Pop trinket, hit a med kit. Um, yeah, like tight ends. Tight ends. I think you don't want to leave like the sixth round without a tight end. And Joku, I think is actually really really nice. So if I didn't take Laporta there, then I punt till like the seventh round and take a dude like Njoku or whenever Njoku's getting taken. He's a dude who I'm liking a lot more. Just the way he ended last season, he was essentially a league winner for any team that had Njoku as their tight end. He was getting like 20 points a game. Like the dude who won in my main home league, he had like Njoku, Mike Evans, Amon Ra. He had like all the dudes who popped off. Fucking Jared, you piece of shit. Dude's also good at golf. unacceptable. All right, let's. My pick is coming up. There is some wide receiver value. There's still some RB value. Um, I don't know. Do I want to take a second RB this early? Usually, I'm like a fan of. But again, this is a start seven, so like I still need to fill a flex and an RB. So um, I can essentially take either one. Jalen Hurts still being on the board is kind of crazy, right? I'm gonna go with Hurts. As I mentioned, dude, like try to get it's even if it's a 1Z position, you're starting seven, right? It's a shallow ass team, so you want to fill your roster with like the best available. Like if there's a dude in a tier that is all right, how do I say this without sounding like I'm fucking autistic? All right. Aaron Jones is a tier four running back, right? So you take Aaron Jones and you have like a tier four, he can maybe be a top 12 RB, right? He might be like the 11th ranked RB on the year. You can take like a tier three or four wide receiver, or you can take a tier one QB. Like it's just like have tiers when you go into these drafts. They help so much when you have like tier breaks because usually if you want to get like a flex ranking from any of these websites that people use, you're going to have to pay for the premium, right? Because you're not going to get the like top 200 list. That's always going to be gated behind like some type of payment or some type of subscription, a fucking newsletter sub. So you're never going to see like, oh, should I take this RB or this QB? Like where are they ranked, top 100 or top 200 or whatever. So you need to create kind of your own tiers. You need to be like, I'm comfortable taking this wide receiver if none of these RBs and none of these QBs are available. Create these little buckets. I might actually create one of these things and have it as like a PDF, and it'll be gated, and you'll have to you'll have to subscribe to me and pay me. No, I'll give that shit for free, dude. Fuck it. I have 220 subs. Like I know that's a huge channel to in the industry. That's considered good. No, that it's dog water. I need to give you guys free value and prove my value, prove my worth. Yeah, so tiers. Have tiers. Not tears of sadness, but tears of value, or tears of ADP tiers. DeAndre Swift gets taken. That could have been interesting, but yeah, DeAndre Swift to me is like a very strange draft pick, dude. I haven't even been talking about any of these other picks. What's there to say, right? I don't like Terry McLaurin that early in the fifth round. I'll pass. George Pickens, super value. I love him. Anywhere after like the third round, I'm okay taking Pickens. Like when Waddle got sniped, taking Pickens could have been the play for me. That's how much I like Pickens this season. All right, any more RBs? I think I wait before I take another RB. Oh fuck. Oh no. I'm gonna go Ramondre. Damn. All right. The reason I'm going Ramondre, I do think he's gonna be the workhorse. I just don't imagine the Patriots using any of the dudes behind it. Like, let's look at the names behind him, right? Antonio Gibson, maybe he gets some third down work. Not all of it, but he gets some for sure. And that's it. Kevin Harris, Jermichael Hasty, Terrell Jennings. Like, do you know what any of those guys look like? If I fucking sat you down in an interrogation room and I had a one of those police what are they called? Police drawers. You would not be able to describe any of these three dudes. That's hell no. All right, hell no, hell to the no no. All right, Ramondre Stevenson. Yeah, I just think like I don't like drafting Patriots running backs, but it is a new regime now, so that's what makes me think like, what if, dude? What if he's just a workhorse back? Like Ramondre Stevenson, who like let's compare Ramondre to these backs that were taken around him, right? Ramondre Stevenson, potentially workhorse back with Antonio Gibson, maybe taking some third down work. Maybe all the third down work even. But he's still going to be the goal line guy. He's going to be the early down guy. In any type of neutral or positive game script, they're going to be riding him. So that's Ramondre Stevenson, right? DeAndre Swift, is he going to be a workhorse? Is he going to be just a versatile kind of like scat back type thing, or is he going to get early down stuff as well and short yard stuff? We don't know. We just really don't know what Chicago's going to do there. Aaron Jones coming off brutal hamstring injury, and he's 29, right? And he's on a new team and a new contract. Like everything bad about it. RB. David Montgomery, he's losing timeshare in a timeshare. So he's going to be like the 40% guy in a timeshare. Even though he's going to get all the goal line stuff, it's a PPR league, right? Najee Harris, I don't even need to talk about Najee Harris. He's the worst. He's the worst back in the timeshare. Jalen Warren is clearly better, has more juice. So even though Najee Harris could be good and they might be a run first team, like I just like he's even unsure about his own role. Look at that. So that's why I took Ramondre. I don't even think I need to talk about it that much. Zamir White would have been a good pick too. I think Ramondre or Zamir White right there at that pick, in my opinion. All right, let's look back at wide receiver. It's getting the names are starting to get pretty sad, so I have to start legit. You know, I don't want to get stuck with Keon Coleman. Ooh, Christian Watkins. Christian Watkins. I love that. Let me cue him up. Perfect type of high ceiling wide. Damn, I only have two wide receivers this late in the draft. This is not how you want to draft. This is data, dude. We are gathering data about how to not draft right now. Do I take Hollywood Brown and hope Watkins falls to me? I think I do that. No, no, no. Yeah, I think. Wait, Calvin really Rashi Rice. All right, I'm gonna take Hollywood Brown, and if Christian Watson falls to me, we dance. We dance. Raheem Mostert, Rashi Rice. Dude, this draft is kind of a taco draft, so you never know, man. People could be flinging out dog shit left and right. Somebody might draft Curtis Samuel right here, but you're hoping, right? You're hoping that they do not take. Uh oh. Ooh, dude, Jonathan Brooks. We got to talk about him a little bit. So there is a recent report about Jonathan Brooks that it looks like he will not be playing the first 3 or 4 weeks of the season. That his ACL injury seems to be lingering. They're going to ease him back, and that means Chuba Hubbard or whoever's going to be the number two guy for Carolina is going to have some early season value. With Jonathan Brooks probably falling further down drafts as the offseason continues, as we approach the season, I think Jonathan Brooks falls and he ends up being maybe like a ninth round pick. And in the ninth round, I think you smash that pick. I think you even smash it in the eighth round because when he comes back in about week 4, if you can just survive to week 4 and have some, replacement options, I think Jonathan Brooks ends up being like a league winner, right? Especially after that like bye week bump where he gets situated, he kind of gets ramped up, and then boom, post bye week, we party, dude. We profit. So that's what I think about Brooks. So I think that's a solid pick. It was an auto pick, of course, dude. The sentience of AI is getting crazy. So of course the fucking auto draft AI just wins the mock draft with one fell swoop. Let's see. What did I say I wanted to do? Christian Watson? Does J Rock fucking break my heart one more time in this mock? I might have to send this dude a whisper mute. Might have to might have to send him a whisper mute. My boy Lath, if you're watching this video, you know exactly what I mean by that. All right, Christian Watson falls to me. Deontay Johnson could be interesting there too, but I did make a video recently just absolutely poo-pooing on him. So if I were to take him in a mock draft, I know I'll get a whisper mute by my boy Cody. So that's not happening, dude. Christian Watson it is. Gotta stick with my boys. All right. How are we looking at this draft, man? Let's take a look at this roster. We got Jalen Hurts. Love that in the 5th round. That's absolutely crazy. We got Joe Mixon and Ramondre as our two running backs, two guys who should be able to keep on, hold on to their starting role. JJ, dude, at the 1-7. I think we salvaged this 7th pick, right? Like I think usually 7th pick, it can burst into flames real early, man. Like you get to that 7th pick, top 5 wide receivers are all taken. You're fucking stun locked. You're Mr. Crab Swirl, dude. You're like, oh my god, what do I do? And you reach for like, Garrett Wilson, and then you shotgun a few beers. You have a few tequila shots. Somebody calls you gay. You're like, all right, dude, I'm taking fucking T Higgins in the 3rd round. You know what I mean? Like things can really devolve quickly. So at the 1-7th pick, you gotta make it work, dude. Take value. Take the players that you're familiar with. Are going to be productive. That's all you got to do. That's a little that's a little 1 minute short right there. What are we doing? All right, let's look at it. I mean, at this point, the draft's essentially over, right? Like these are just like dart throw picks. I will give my thoughts on some of these picks. Like I do think Deontay Johnson's a solid pick. I think Tajay Spears is a great pick. I think Zach Moss is becoming less of a good pick as the offseason unfolds. I just think Chase Brown's getting like all the first team reps, and Moss isn't injured, right? So Moss is not dealing with any type of offseason injury, but Chase Brown's getting most of the first team reps. So take from that what you will. Um, 3 months ago, it said Zach Moss is set for a big role, but since then I haven't seen any reports. I don't know if any Bengals fans, if you guys have been, um, if you guys have had proximity to what they've been up to in training camp and stuff, let me know down in the comments. And why don't you subscribe while you're down there? Subscribe to your boy, dude. I made a funny joke about tequila shots and being drunk. I earned it. I earned your sub. All right, let's talk about some more value. I think this dude did really well. Slight. I honestly do. I think he punted RB and then he got most of the RBs that like the perfect RB punt players, right? Like Najee Harris. As much as I just took a dump on his face, like in the sixth round as your first RB, that's okay. You then like you then build around Najee, right? Like with the expectation that potentially he loses his job. That's how you kind of construct the team. All right, my pick, because it's a PPR league, let's just go ahead and take Eckler. I know he's old and I know he looks slow, but as just like a PPR plug-in, maybe like in good matchups, maybe I throw Eckler in at my flex instead of Hollywood or instead of Christian Watson. Like you can do worse. Maybe even like Joe Mixon ends up being a fart. Ramondre Stevenson ends up being a fart. I throw Eckler in there. Maybe Eckler becomes like that dude for me, right? Like maybe he's just has an offseason to get healthy, still like dynamic, still can like run in between tackles. Yeah, he lost a little bit of speed. Crazy how he really fell off the cliff real fast. But yeah, to me like that's a solid pick, right? Um, is there any more wide receiver value? I mean, yeah, there's still great, solid dudes. I mean, it's such a small roster. You're still gonna have solid picks at your like last, 12th round. You're still gonna have some decent players to pick from. You just got to know where to throw those darts. Where like guys in new situations, maybe a new head coach, maybe a new QB, maybe a new contract, a new sign of life. Jerry Judy kind of fits that, right? Like I know everyone. It's easy to shit on Jared Judy. I'm with you, dude. I'll be holding a torch and a pitchfork as well. But he he is talented. I think, according to Steve Smith, he's ass, dude. He needs to ice up, son. But I don't know. Xavier Get, that's another dart throw type player. You can throw. He could easily emerge in that Carolina wide receiver room. Like it's not like he's really competing other than Deontay Johnson. Now, here's what I think could happen, right? I think Deontay Johnson comes in as like that dude, that like veteran, teaching these young boys how to run routes, how to be like a proper route technician. And then Deontay Johnson does what he always does, right? He catches like an 8 yard slant. He's running toward the sideline. Nobody touches him. He falls down and he tears his hamstring. That's and then Xavier Leggett kind of is like, don't worry, Yoda, Master Yoda, I got this. And he ends up being the dude like on the worst offense. So that's why it's not that exciting. But um, after saying all that, I'll go ahead and take Jameson Williams. These are Jameson Williams to me is like the perfect like boom or bust. He's essentially like a shittier version of Christian Watson, in my opinion. Like crowded room, lots of talent. We don't know whether he's going to be like. Actually, you know what? No, I'm pivoting on the fly. So Christian Watson, I think, is going to be like the number one guy. I think from a all right, we need a touchdown. Who are we going to? Right. While I don't think James Williams has that opportunity, but I do think Jameson Williams is going to benefit from like, hey, I'm not the number one option. I'm like the third, fourth option. Therefore, I'm going to be open a lot. Like they're going to give a lot of attention to Laporta and Amon Ra, and I'm going to be open. So that's the dichotomy there. But they are both like fast, big play type guys. So there's a comparison, and then that's the difference. Jaden Daniels in the 10th round. That is very very nice. Um, yeah, I guess in these leagues where you're really not start. Holy fuck! There's a beam of light shining down upon me. You guys see this? I'm being fucking basked in glorious light. Motherfucker, you gotta subscribe for that. Oh, dude, the holiest of mock drafts. The holiest of mock drafts. Subscribe for the beam, dude. Light the motherfucking beam. If you're from Sacramento, where my Sacramento Kings boys at, dude? Light the motherfucking beam. All right. For anybody that hasn't clicked away from this video after being blinded by the most glorious, righteous beam of light, what are we doing about this mock draft? Who are we picking next? We taking We taking J.K. Dobbins. He's been getting a little bit hype. He's been getting a lot hype actually. I know that Gus bus, the fucking corpse of Gus Edwards, who was horrible last season, even though he had like 17 touchdowns. He did not look good, and I know he's injured right now. He's not really getting a lot of like first team reps and stuff. Or it seems he was splitting first team reps with JK. Dude, I think JK Dobbins is like, he's burned me, dude. I traded for him in Dynasty. I drafted him in redraft. Like, can I go back to this, dude? It's like my precious, right? I'm like Smeagol, and J.K. Dobbins is just sitting there staring at me like, I don't know if I could do it again, dude. I don't know if I can handle this pain. It's like texting your ex or at the end of a fucking frat party. It's like 3 a.m. There's one fat chick left, and there's like 8 dudes circling. And you're like, you know what? calling the audible. I'm texting my ex, dude. That's J.K. Dobbins, essentially, in fantasy football for a lot of people. But I do think you still send that text. Send that text, dude. You never know. She might say, you know what? Oh, AI, dude, the AI it's Skynet, dude. It hears me. I think Sleeper might have fucking they should be sitting in Congress answering questions about whether they're connected to the Wi-Fi or not, cuz I feel like they can hear everything I'm saying, and I get sniped by the AI like every mock draft essentially. I'm going to go Xavier Leggett after everything I said about him earlier. I'm kind of RB thin. They could, and I just went on a fucking tirade. How do you say that word? About J.K. Dobbins, about how I love him, and I get fucking skynetted. Like, typical, dude. The same thing happened with Waddle. Anyway, Stunlock is over. Mr. Krabs World is done. So I need to focus and make this useless 12th round pick Mr. Irrelevant. It's got to be an RB, right? I don't think you take a backup. Dude, Justin Herbert not being drafted in a 12-man league. Like, what is the thinking? I mean, I guess it makes sense, right? But like, does Justin Herbert not outscore Caleb Williams? Probably not, but all right. I think it's is it the Dowdle? The Dowd skis? Dowdle or Hubbard is a 3 week rental. Dowdle is potentially a season long. So is Tyler Algier. You know what? Let's go Tyler Algier because he's like a valuable handcuff that you can actually start. Damn, dude, the AI goes Rico Dowdle. What the fuck did I just say, man? What did I just say? I'm telling you, bro. I'm telling you. Sleeper's got sleeper agents. Maybe that's why they're called sleeper. They got the sleeper agent fucking AI up in my room. All right, let's look at the team. This draft is done. This was a silly draft, dude. For anybody who likes like serious mock drafts, like you can unsub for sure. All right, Justin Jefferson and Devontae Adams in the first and second round. Again, drafting at the 7th pick is brutal. You essentially pray that people take RBs so that one of those top 5 wide receivers falls to you. Otherwise, you take Brees and Bijan potentially. Maybe you reach for AJ. That's what I would do. And then Devontae Adams. Now I could have went Kyron here. My team could have shaken up a lot different. I could have then taken like wide receivers in these middle rounds. Maybe instead of Laporta, I do take Waddle. Your team can shake up a lot of different ways based on who you take, kind of in that first and second round, right? But ideally, I think this year you maybe like running back a little. Maybe you take one in the first 3 or 4 rounds, but then I think you could wait. Like I think I didn't need to take Ramondre here. I think I could have taken like a Christian Kirk. I could have taken like a Jaden Reed. Oh no, Jaden Reed was gone already. Could have taken a Chris Godwin. Like maybe Chris Godwin and Hollywood Brown there maybe feels a little bit better. And then I take like Tajay, Jalen Warren, Zach Mosses of the world, those types of dudes, Chase Brown, Eckler. Eckler's fine there. I think Eckler might be like one of my better picks, one of my better value picks. Yeah, that's essentially the draft, man. Just take dudes who have upside, take dudes who are either take guys that have upside and are young, or take dudes that are older but established and proven and they don't have like a lot of competition. And that's what I see with Eckler, right? Like 5th round Brian Robinson, I think he can maybe beat him out. So those are my thoughts. Too. The beam of light is slowly dispersing, so the righteousness of this mock draft is over. And that means this mock draft is over. I hope you guys enjoy it. If you do, hit me with a sub. I'll catch you guys next time.